What's going on, people? So, went to Comic Con, the one in San Diego last week, right? Well, I guess part of it was last week, part of it was the end of the week before that. Either way, I was out there, bought a bunch of stuff, which is why I have this big old box next to me, and you probably saw it in the thumbnail. So now it's time to go ahead, open this thing up, put this stuff somewhere. Honestly, I don't really care to get to this anytime quickly or whatever, but there's some stuff in here that has to get mailed out to other people because, as I've said before, like when I buy stuff, some of it is, a lot of it is for me, yes, sure. But I can't hold on to everything. Sometimes I get stuff for other people, right? So that's what's, oh, some of that stuff's going to be in here. Let's go put this on the ground where I can get to it a little easier. First off, though, I will say, like, mailing things through FedEx or whatever or UPS, it's always expensive, right? But even more so when you do it in the wrong place. So in the convention center down there in San Diego, right? They have a FedEx place right there in the building, which is super convenient, sure. However, it's also super pricey. I would say, like, go ahead and take a guess how much I spent, but I don't think anybody's actually watching this right now. So I'll just tell you, it was $230 to mail this box, right? Now I'll give you some dimensions real quick if that helps you make sense of it. 22 by 22 by 22, they call that a cube. So there's that. And it came in around 27 pounds, I believe it was, right? Whatever that is in kilograms, I don't know. I'm not a conversion guy, right? I only work with what I know to work with, which is pounds. So either way, when I got to the front of the line and like they pack it up real nice and neat though, like you'll see once I get this thing open, I was like, this is crazy, because the dude, he was even a little taken aback, if you will, when he looked at it. It's like, oh, it's a fair amount here. Because he asked me, he's like, hey, so how do you want to ship this? Do you want to do ground or do you want to do express? I'm like, well, I don't know. What's the difference between like how long it's going to take and the price? Let's just see what my options are. He gives me the first one, and he's like, oh well, the first one, the cheapest one is 230, and I'm like, what? Like I think we're sold on the first one. He's like, and it'll be there Friday. I'm like, okay, fantastic. And then he gives me the next one, which is like going to be there on Wednesday or something, and that one would have been like 900 almost, like $900, right? Ridiculous. All right, so need to keep these things to the side. You get bags from like the vendors or whatever when they sell you stuff. So got to keep one of these out so I can mail somebody their thing or whatever. Got a couple of those. Went through the line twice. So they put all the stuff in here, which is nice. All the crap that you buy. Then they just throw that all on top, which is fine. But it's just a lot of stuff to get through. Also, they give you these fancy little bags that you can wear. It's like a backpack. It's got these little straps on there. It says Comic Con. It's got the logo thing down there, right? And then on the back side, they have different ones. So a lot of people like to collect them or trade with their friends. So they can get the one that they prefer to have. Little Mattel Creations, right? Because I did stop over there briefly. Not sure what this is, but there must be something in it because they put it in here. Oh, okay. Which is, like I said, you give them all your stuff, right? They just take it out of the bags and they pack up everything individually. So that's the only thing that's in here. And this will be the first thing, which if you were ever a person that was into I meant to change the thing over, the X-Men animated series, right? I happened to be near the guy that did the artwork for a lot of that stuff. So I got this signed print from him, which is pretty cool. So I do like that. Go ahead and set this over here. That's one of those things that's not for me, right? Okay, more paper, so get that over there. And this, I guess this might be some comics or something. I don't remember exactly what it is because when I gave it to them, again, it was just a bunch of stuff. So they go and they pack it all up real nice for you, which is why I don't mind spending the extra money. Because everything in here, I had like no worry that it was going to arrive in pristine shape, right? I do like to take a lot of my stuff out of the boxes, but I still want it to be in decent shape, at least when I get it. So what was this? Oh, this was like the IDW price list for the stuff they were selling. I don't even know what some of this stuff is. Like, it must have been just random crap that they gave me. Got some cards in here. Yeah. This also needs to stay out because this is for somebody else. Loyal subjects things. This was a collector's edition Superman card, right? So there's this Uno game coming around, right? By Mattel Creations. If you saw one of the videos I did not too long ago, I was doing an unboxing on that. But they did some that are Marvel and DC themed, so each card has like special things about it based off of the character, right? So it's just kind of a cool deal. Loyal subject sticker, I gave them a fair amount of money. This right here, some DC trading cards. So the way these work, which is kind of cool, you get the physical card, but on the back or something, there's a QR code. So if you look at the QR code, you can put the card into your like online inventory, you know, like a digital collection as well as the physical. And then you can compete online to see who has the overall best collection as far as like rare cards and all that, right? So it's kind of cool, honestly, but I just don't see me doing it a whole lot. I stopped by the Kith booth. See that up there in the up over here? Yeah, that's how you know that this comic was more expensive than it should have been, right? It's $15 for this thing for no real reason. But I bought it because I figured I'm not going to get the shoes because I know how things like that can work. But I'll settle for the comic. So there's that. Also, another comic. This is a silver colored edition of Supergirl, right? Yeah. Supergirl. Let's see, I should move this a little bit, get some of that glare out of the way. But anyway, so it's a Supergirl edition, all foil covered, right? So kind of cool. Normally, like I'll take this and route it over to the TV, but the TV is playing AEW Rampage from the other day, so there's that. Also picked up this right here. It's a Spawn gold accented comic book, right? So you can kind of see that Batman and Spawn. So the thing about this was that if you went to the DC booth and you spent more than $300, they gave you this version of the comic for free, right? If you spent, I think, over $150, you got the silver edition. So, every so often I'm a big spender, but not always proud of it. And this is Teen Titans, which they gave me the wrong one, I believe, because I'd certainly paid for the silver one. Actually, no, they didn't have a silver one of this. Never mind, because this is like the DC thing, shows you how much all the stuff is, right? So if you're going through the exclusives line, it's good to know what you're up against. So down here in the bottom right over here, that's what I was just talking about, all that stuff. Like if you spend $300 for that one, spend $100 for the other one. I really wish this camera didn't suck so much at like focusing though. So this is a Teen Titans comic. It's not for me. I don't even really care for the Teen Titans. The cartoon is fine, but whatever. It's something that I picked up for a friend of mine. Some more of those cards like I was talking about. I'll get into this later. Okay. From the IDW booth, this is the Comic-Con edition of The Last Ronin, The Lost Day. It's got the April cover, right? It's a nice little drawing in a way. Makes her look a little extra rugged, which is a thing that makes sense for that life that she was living. Moving along, what is all this? I think all this is a bunch of nonsense. Another one of those packs of cards. I got a couple of these. Got some Joker dollars, right? Because I was in line at the right time and they were handing these things out while you waited. So that was cool. What is this? More DC shop stuff. I'll be doing an unboxing of this separately because this is one of those Roosevelt shirts, one of those $70 shirts that I talk about. Yeah, I saw that they had a special Comic-Con one, so I couldn't not buy it because, it's one of those things. But I have like 5 or so of those shirts over there that I need to do an unboxing and review of. So I'll just lump that in with those. And that concludes what was in this little box. Oh my Jesus Christ. Moving along. So see this? This is what I'm talking about. You give the people whatever the item is. They wrap it all up in all this bubble wrap. And then they put it all into this box. So you're going to see a bunch of stuff, and it's all bubble wrapped individually, which is part of the reason that they charge what they do, because there is a fee for that. And it does make for a bigger box, right? Because you have more stuff. But even though I complain about how much it costs, I'm actually overall fine with it. Obviously, I am, because I wouldn't have done it. I've done this many, many times over many, many years. Well, 10 years. This was my 10th year going. So let's go ahead and get these things out of here. They had them all nice and neat in there, right? This is a Blue Venom little action figure guy. I can stand it on the desk at work, right? So that's pretty cool. Let's see if I can do this in a smart way. I almost dropped that, but you know, quick hands every so often. Of course, we also got anti-venom, which is same as normal venom, just kind of inverted, right? So there's that for you. And you got toxin, which is kind of like Carnage, but not quite the same layout, right? So you see he's black and red, just not the typical black and red like you might expect from what's his name, from Carnage. This right here, I did one of these reviews or one of these unboxings last year, I want to say. And that one I shot as just a straight video and figure I'll just call it a day like that, you know? And it was not fun. I didn't enjoy it because there was a lot of editing to do. So if you've ever seen how I do my videos, you know that I put a lot of time into them, right? Even the ones that I know won't get watched. It's just a thing that I do. So this time around, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and just undo these things online, not worry about any pictures, not worry about how it comes out. It's all documented all still, right? So this is another set of those DC things. This one was like a, what do you call this? It doesn't say on here, but when you buy boxes of cars, they call them different things or whatever. They have like premium booster packs or whatever. That box was like $60, right? And honestly, like, had I known exactly what I was buying, I mean, I liked the idea of the cars, right? Oh, they did a great job on whatever's in here. Oh, this is Magneto. This is a Mondo Magneto. So had I known exactly what that was, because it's got this like, it's Shazam based or whatever. And if you saw what I said about that movie, you know that I am not a fan of that Shazam movie. So had I known that those cards were for the movie, I would have totally just bought something else instead, you know? Probably would have just bought more of the other cards, because the other cards at least looked fancy, kind of. So let's go ahead and get this thing out of here if I can, or I'm going to have to just cut more of it off, because it's just surrounded by bubble wrap. Like, it's so much of it, you know? It's going to be a mess to clean up later, but I'll worry about later. Oh, and they got tape on the box. So, all right, you got to be careful if you're one of those figure collector dudes, right? So earlier, I was talking about getting stuff signed. So this right there, you can barely see it, but it's like right along the side of his cape. The guy that did the art for this, for the box and like the whole X-Men animated series style of art, I got him to sign this because he also drew the cover art for it, right? Dan something or other. I took a picture with the dude too, you know, because I was walking back from buying that figure, and I stopped to like I was looking like, oh, where'd mom go? Because I bought my mom a ticket too, because she likes stuff. So I let her go to things with me or whatever, and she usually has a good time off running around doing her own thing. So I'm looking for her, and I stopped by this desk, right, by this booth, and the guy there, he's like, hey man, like, just so you know, the guy who did the artwork for that figure you bought, he's like right here, and he'll sign it if you want. So I was like, yeah, sure, let's do that, right? And he wasn't going to charge me for signing it, which was fantastic. But I, being the kind of person I am, felt bad about it. So I was like, hey, let me get one of these prints, which is why I bought the one that I showed you a minute ago, this one right here, because he signed the bottom of it too. So I bought that just so I didn't feel like I was just like showing up and being like, hey, just sign this thing and you're not going to get anything out of it from me. Because that, I don't know, just felt wrong. You know what I'm saying? He was cool with it. He would have been completely fine with it. I wouldn't have been fine with it. And that is what matters. So I showed a box earlier for Jazzwares. That's where this thing came from. This is a Call of Duty ghost figure thing. Let's go ahead and slide this bad boy on out of here so you can see it. And then there's that, right? Call of Duty ghost. If at any point there's something that you guys want to see more of later, let me know, because I get that this video quality-wise is going to be like awful. So if there's something you want close-ups of or pictures or like a little video about, make it known and I will make it happen. All right, we are getting there. I can't even say I'm close to being done with this, which is somewhat unfortunate because I feel like I've been doing it for a long while. It's only been 15 minutes. Feels like forever. Hello, Sean Russell Artworks. I don't know how. Okay, that's a new message. How are things going for you, Mr. Artworks? I've never seen your name before, but I also don't do a whole lot of lives, honestly. Not as many as I should, because they are entertaining. I like to interact with the crowd and whatnot in a way that matters. When I do the comment section or whatever, you don't really get a whole lot there, right? Because it's this whole asymmetric communication thing that just isn't always the best. Kind of like how me unwrapping this thing isn't going in the best way. What is it? Oh, see, and once again, got to be careful with the tape. Very careful with the tape. Okay, cool. So this is the gold edition Bane from that Batman movie that had Bane in it. Remember that guy? He had the weird voice, or you know, he had that whole thing going on. Saw this, couldn't not have it, so I picked this up. There should actually be 2 of these in here, so if I come across the next one, I will likely not unbox it because the other one is going to my brother. He is a fan of, well, he kind of likes the Bane guy, but for all the wrong reasons, because he's just fun to make fun of. But there was some like long inside joke between us about Bane, so I bought him this Bane figure. And since it's a gold edition Comic-Con, not exclusive, but limited release, he can have a little something that not everybody else has, right? So that's always cool. I just put up my second video. I'm new to YouTube. Okay, well, I am not quite so new to the YouTube myself. This is year number 4 for me, right? So I started in January of 2019. First video went up on January 21st. I did a bunch of recordings around January 6th through maybe 10th or so I could release them all at the same time. Because I wanted to trick people in some ways. I figured if I put up a single video and somebody finds this single video, they will look at me and they'll think, what is this? But if I have several videos, if somebody finds me, they'll be like, oh, this is an actual YouTube channel with actual content on it. Did it work? Kind of, sort of, actually. So that's what I did. How are you going about starting your little YouTube adventure? I'm curious, and also if you have questions, I might have some answers. So this is the AEW Sting figure. There will be 2 more of these in here, meaning I will not open the other ones because that's just too much stuff to do. And this one's got a little bit of a bend on the back, which happens, not a big deal. And as you see there, same with last year with the Brody Lee, got the like Comic-Con edition sticker on the bottom. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions there, Sean Russell Artworks, because I try to help people, and it's a lot easier when I can actually speak to them, right? Like I'm doing right now, typing things out. I did make some videos like 2 years ago, I think it was, about a lot of the stuff that I suggest people do. So I can send you some links to those or whatever if you'd like to. So there's this. This is Sting, right? See that? He's got like the weird eye thing going on and all that stuff. In the background, you can see I'm watching AEW Rampage. So I saw this, I wanted it, and you would not believe the amount of work I had to put into getting it, right? Let's see. My first one was 2 weeks ago. I do. Okay, so yeah, leave your questions in the thing, man. We can talk this whole thing out. So one of the things that is kind of nice about, like, because I do have a decent number of subscribers or whatever, but when it comes to the lives, I don't really pull in a lot of people because I don't advertise them a lot. And also, a lot of the people are here for just like random other things. So I totally get it. But what helps is like when I do these, since there isn't a whole lot of people that show up, it's easy to talk to people in like a real time situation and give them some actual attention. Whereas if I had like dozens of people and the text was just scrolling by, it'd be like my IRC days or something. You know what I'm saying? Not so easy. This is another one of those Sting figures that you can tell because like just barely in there, you can see Sting. I'm gonna sit this guy off to the side, not gonna worry about unwrapping it because I don't need to. This right here is gonna be some cards, right? Yes, please, he says. But yeah, just go ahead and say whatever you need to say in the comments. You do have to keep it relatively clean, I think, because, you know, certain words get filtered out, you know, like the naughty languages or something. But I feel like that shouldn't need to be said, but I just throw it out there anyway. So let's get in here. But yeah, I remember like when I started doing the whole YouTube thing, I didn't really go in with any kind of plan, didn't know how long I'd do it. I was just like, you know what? I've got some free time, and this is what I'm going to do with that free time. I'm going to do YouTube. Because why not, right? I have a camera, kind of, sort of. I had a, where is it? It's over there. I had the Note 8 at the time, right? So that's what I recorded my initial videos on. And I didn't even have a tripod. I just had the phone sitting on like, I had a stack of shoe boxes. And I just like leaned it up, set it at the top, and then just like leaned it back against another shoe box so that I could just like keep it focused on me or whatever. And I just sat down and started talking. It's me, a pair of Beavis and Butthead 3MCs, and my favorite Warped Tour shirt. So these right here, another set of cards or whatever. I think these were like $40 a box. There's like 9 cards in here, but they're supposed to be really good, right? So again, it's part of the whole review thing, and I got 2 up. Well, I think I got 4 of them. I think there might be some others somewhere, but either way, part of the whole review thing is like it's fun to sit here and inform people about things they may not know about, you know? Let's see, I admire people that do videos like this. Oh, well, yeah, well, I appreciate it, you know? One other thing I will say is, and it kind of goes without saying because I feel like it's oversaid, but when it comes to like doing your thing on the YouTubes or whatever, make sure you're doing your thing, right? Because you can sit there and you can try to be, oh, I like this guy, so I'm going to be like this guy. Why be like that guy? Being that guy has already been done, right? Just do the thing that you do, right? Which is whatever makes sense to you, because it's not going to be what anybody else is doing. And it's good to have your own voice, have your own identity, your own presentation, and all that stuff, right? Now, when I look online, right, there's a million people talking about a lot of the same things all the time, especially if the word Jordan is in the title of the thing you're talking about. But you got to ask yourself, are you bringing something different to the table, or at least giving them something else, some other perspective, right? And that's kind of where things are for me, right? Now, I'm aware that my videos, like as far as substance goes, not always there, right? And I don't try to pretend like it is. This right here is, what is this? Oh yeah, this is the Nightfall Batman. This is one of the things I was totally there for, right? So this was one of those gold editions. They were only selling it there. They were actually sold out for the day. And then when I got to the front of the line, the lady was like, hey, we actually might have some more of those Batmans if you're into it. I was like, oh, I'm into it. That's not exactly how that conversation went, but that was the gist of it. Either way, so the way I see it, right, my videos aren't always great, but I put enough stuff in there that if you do listen to it, you'll find something of value, you know, whether it's like some entertainment because something funny or something that might be insightful, like, oh, here's a shopping tip for you, you know? So you throw something out there and people will eventually just kind of start to find you and think like, okay, this guy, his presentation, which is pretty monotone and pretty straightforward, not a whole lot of excitement in my stuff. And that attracts a certain amount of people, right? Some people are into that. I could sit here and do the whole thing. You know how it is. Like, dude, oh my God, right here. Just got this in from Mattel Creations. We are talking about the upcoming, because I got it early, Mr. T Ultimate Edition. That's right. It's the 2-pack. Before you see it anywhere else, you're seeing it right here for the first time. You could do that stuff, and it is freaking annoying to me. It is so ungodly annoying to me. But it's what works for some people because they're into that. So just do what makes sense to you. People will show up, they'll enjoy what you're doing, and that'll be the end of it. I'm opening this figure right now because I want to see what it looks like up close. I did catch a little glimpse of it when I was there at the old Comic-Con, but it was from a distance. It was in glass and stuff. Besides, you guys are here. Let's share this whole thing, right? Let's see. You are right. I'm right about a lot of things, actually. You'll find that out in time. So, put that over there. There you have that, greatest of all time. And that right there says, he who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in his life. That's a very serious statement. There you have Muhammad Ali. There you have Muhammad Ali. Let's go ahead, open this thing up real quick. If I can get a little knife action going on over here because they got tape on this. Right there. Let's see. I don't know why they like to do so much with these boxes to make it so difficult to get into sometimes. Oh, well, I guess if you don't cut the tape all the way, that's what makes it difficult. So that's a self-inflicted problem, right? There's a lot of those going on in the world. You just got to know what to look for so that way you know them when they happen. All right, set that there. So look at this. There he is again. There he is again. I don't know how this opens. Oh, look at that. It's like a magnet. See that? Magnet stuff. I'm not sure how those work, but that's a thing. And then you have that, right? It's a little unclear because not just because of the camera, but because of the way it is. So there's that, right? On the back side. On the inside, you got this little pull tab thing. So if I pop this out, bam, there's Muhammad Ali. On that side, where am I going to set this thing? I'm running out of space here. I've been opening this box for like the last forever. And then over here, you got another one of these things. Go ahead, pull this thing out. Oh, almost dropped the whole figure. Would have been disastrous. Push that back in there. So there you go. There's Muhammad Ali, right? It's a 2-pack like I kind of alluded to in the opening. And this looks really cool. They give you the referee version. They give you the fighter version. So is it worth $70? That's a question for you, right? Because that is a lot of money to throw down on a figure. But it's actually 2 figures, so it's like $35 a piece, right? So there's that. And here's another one, right? This one's going to Mom because Mom was like, she was watching the WWE panel with me where they were doing all their upcoming reveals for the next year or so. And she was like, oh, wow, that is amazing. Like, where's that booth? I need to get one of those. Yeah, so while I was waiting on her for whatever reason, I went down and picked one up for her and for myself. So this is going to be another Sting figure. You can tell because it's another Sting figure. Just going to sit that down here. Luckily, it's all bubble wrapped up. All right, we are just about done, people. Just about done. I'm not the first kid on the block to get a new figure before everyone else. Yeah, I do every so often. Like these Muhammad Ali figures, that's kind of early in a way because they did the sale at Comic-Con, obviously. So, me and thousands of other people that wanted, well, I don't know if they made that many figures, but me and a bunch of other people that truly wanted it got it. But they didn't go on sale until Thursday or Friday. I think actually, yeah, it was Friday for like the online where people could go on and buy them. And even then, if you bought them like that, you don't have it yet. So it is technically an early kind of look, but it's still like a week and a half removed from Comic-Con. So how early is it really? More of these overpriced packs of cards. These things better be fantastic, or I'm going to have words with myself because I'm the only person I can complain to. Let's see. Okay, make sure I'm not missing any messages in there. And now, last but certainly not least, we have something. I don't know what this is, but it's something. Let's go ahead and find out, right? See if I can get through this video in a timely manner. I mean, it's been 30 minutes, right? Which is not terrible. But again, it's basically been me just like opening stuff for like the last forever, right? And that's another thing that's kind of weird about doing the whole YouTube thing. It's like I'm sitting here and I spend a lot of time talking to myself in empty rooms and just, doing that, right? And the weird thing is like when I'm having a conversation with people, and I'm making jokes or whatever, like you can see how things are going over because like you're right there next to people. But when you're just sitting here doing this, I'm just rambling on. People are like, I don't know if I'm losing interest or if people are losing interest or what, but I dang sure commit to it though. That's for sure. Because why not? I mean, it's like the thing that you do, but it is just a little bit weird sometimes. So, last but certainly not least, of some more of the stuff that I showed up to Comic Con truly wanting. This right here is the Joker sonar thing, right? So if you remember from the movie, there's a part in there where they were doing some solar vision of the building or whatever to see where people were. So that's what this is, just to kind of commemorate that whole thing. Let's set that back there. Up next, we have, like I said, another Bane figure. This one will be going to my brother. So we already talked about him. And then we have this right here, which is the Masked Joker. Again, all of these were gold label editions, right? These will be getting a wider release. Actually, I think the release already happened on McFarlane Toy Shop. And if I'm not mistaken, it went quickly. But the release that I saw was actually it was like a 3-pack of all 3 of those figures, right? Which is kind of cool, but maybe you don't like Bane and you just want the Jokers, right? Or maybe you only want the Joker with the clown mask. So I do have one last package. So get this, right? Okay, making sure everything's looking good over there. So Sunday, I get there. I have all my stuff ready to get all packaged up and give a small portion over to FedEx so they can mail it out. I do that. It eats up like 2 hours of my life, which is crazy, but it is what it is, right? So I'm like, okay, I am done. Now I can just go and enjoy the Comic-Con life, right? Go walk around, get a bunch of videos. Some of you may have seen those videos. They're released in short form. So after that, I was like, all right, yeah, this is cool. And then I stumbled upon the Ninja Turtles booth, well, the Loyal Subjects booth. And I had been over there earlier and I saw these turtles and I was like, okay, I'm just going to order those online because they're not selling out here, which means I can get them easily after the fact. Not a big deal. But as I was walking around trying to put the thing in my digital cart and check out and stuff, I happened to see that they were doing a signing over at the Loyal Subjects booth. So I go over there. I'm like, hey, what's the deal? And they're like, oh, yeah, you can buy something and then come back over to the line or just jump in the line now and buy something when you get to the front. And then he'll sign whatever. He being the guy that made these pictures or made the art that these figures are based off of. So some of the newer comics, right? So I got this signature on here, right? You can kind of see that's a better version. So that's the dude's name, that's his signature, and he drew a little Ninja Turtle at the top, right? So I go and I buy this thing because, if I buy it after the fact, I can't get the signature. So I do that, and then now I'm like, great, now I got to go and mail this thing. The FedEx line is now like crazy long, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go take some more pictures, then I'll go over to UPS, right? The UPS store was like a mile away. Didn't really realize it was quite so far. And San Diego, walking around with this whole thing, it's not the coolest place in the world. It's not terrible, right? It's not hot. But I'm like power walking over to this UPS now because I realize it's like going to close in like 20 minutes. So 20 minutes to walk a mile, it's totally doable, right? But you got to be moving, especially when a large part of it is like on a slight incline and it's kind of warm out and you're carrying this box. So yeah, not my greatest moment, but it was totally worth it. Also, before I even left the building, I had to walk around with this thing, holding it like this, because I was still trying to take pictures with this hand, right? But it's one of those marker pens, so if you let the top close, it would have smeared it. So yeah, it was a little extra work for my Sunday, but totally worth it all in the end. And there we go. I've gone through all the things, and a lot of the things it was. Now I'm trapped in this weird little prison of overpriced figures and boxes and such. But it's part of life, it's the life I chose, right? But look at this, though. Isn't that cool? Got a little Joker guy on there, right? I mean, it doesn't count for anything. I can't actually spend it, but it's nice to have. And hello to you, too. Was that JV Gata 17, right? All right, so that's it. I've gone through all the stuff. If anybody has anything that they want to hear me talk about, go ahead and say that or whatever, and then I will say my thoughts on whatever question you ask, I guess. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and get this whole thing wrapped up and whatever so I can move on and probably get dinner because I feel like I should do that. It's like, oh my God, it's only 4:30. It feels later in the day. It feels like 6. But anyway, I just put that out there because I know there's a little bit of a delay between when I say things and when the YouTubes hear it, right? So anyways, seeing that there's nothing in the chat makes me realize that I'm good here, so I can just kind of wrap this thing on up and move on. But before I do, let me go find those links and whatnot that I was talking about to the guy that was asking about YouTube stuff. Because I don't actually, can I share the screen? I'll just share the screen. That way you'll see exactly how to get to the thing. Where is the share screen option? I honestly have no idea. I don't use this a whole lot anymore. I used to use StreamYard a lot back when I was doing, I forget what I was doing. But now I don't see it anymore. So I guess it's this. Oh, it's under the present option. Share a screen. Let's see. We just want a single tab. And that's going to be this one right here. Right. So there's that. Right. So for that guy, forget what your name was, but if you come on over to the old channel, right, that's what's going on there. But if you scroll down to the bottom, so I keep one thing that I will suggest to anybody, keep your YouTube thing organized, right? I got all kinds of playlists in here, so if you want specific things, you can just get to them, right? Reviews, that playlist, the Air Max month, quarterly pickups, right? I don't want people to have to search for stuff because if you have to search for stuff, you're going to go find it somewhere else, right? So at least try to make it easy on people. Either way, come over to the home screen, scroll to the bottom. There's a YouTube tips nonsense thing, right? There's a couple of those shorter videos, and there's this other longer one right here talking about how I make the actual videos, right? It's kind of like a little vlog thing of me going through the process of making whatever video I was making that day, right? Which, going by the shirt that I'm wearing, I want to say it might have been the React Presto Fly Knits because I feel like I'm pretty sure that's the shirt that I wore in that video. But either way, that's something out there. If you're looking for some sort of resource of things to kind of think about when you're making your little videos and such, I suggest it. And it's not just because I made it, but because it's some stuff that actually helps, right? You know, as far as analytics, getting your videos seen and whatnot, and all the tagging and how all that crap goes together. It's a whole thing, but it's useful. So either way, that's going to be it for me, right? From me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I have a couple wrestling related videos that'll be going out later tonight or tomorrow morning. I don't really know. I did all the work for them because I had some extra time in the day, so that's cool. And then I'll be back to doing shoe stuff. Hopefully later in the week. I got a pair of Jordan 11s that I'm supposed to be talking about, right? Cherry ones, I think. I think that's what's next. Either way, thanks again to everybody that stopped in. There's a lot of other things you could have been doing right now, and probably a lot of better things you could have been doing right now. But you're doing this with me, and I don't take it lightly. I make a lot of jokes about things or whatever, but I do appreciate stuff at the end of the day because I know, again, there's a lot of other things you could be doing right now. So thanks. I sincerely mean that. And I'll be crossing paths with some of you later, I assume. So later, people.